The email glowed on my laptop screen like a confession written in neon. I read it 3 times, my hands trembling as the words burned themselves into my memory. Don't worry, I took care of that internship situation with Connor. Julia won't be getting anywhere near his newspaper. God forbid she actually builds a career and embarrasses us all. Can you imagine her awkward self trying to network? My mother's response was even worse. Good work, darling. Better to nip these silly dreams in the bud. She needs to focus on finding a suitable husband, not chase after some tech journalist fantasy. My name is Julia, and at 22, I discovered my mother and sister had been systematically destroying my future behind my back. I shouldn't have been surprised. Growing up in our sprawling Victorian home, I was always the shadow to my sister Annalise's spotlight. While she commanded rooms with her perfect hair and calculated charm, I preferred coding and creating in my bedroom. My mother never let me forget the difference. Julia, darling, stand up straight, she'd say at every society function. And for heaven's sake, try to smile like you mean it. No one will take you seriously with that deer-in-headlights look. I remember the day Connor offered me the internship. He'd found my blog analysing digital marketing trends and reached out personally. Your insights on brand evolution are fascinating, he'd said during our coffee meeting. We need fresh perspectives like yours at the paper. I'd floated home on clouds that day, only to receive his rejection email a week later. Unfortunately, the position has been filled. Best of luck in your future endeavours. Now, I knew why. Julia? Annalise's voice rang through the house. Mother wants you downstairs for tea. I quickly closed the laptop and wiped my eyes. In our family's twisted hierarchy, tears were considered a sign of weakness. The sitting room was a shrine to appearances. Crystal glasses caught the afternoon light, while Mother arranged petit fours on Royal Doulton china. There you are, Mother said, not looking up. We were just discussing the Henderson's daughter, 23 and already engaged to a venture capitalist. How nice for her, I managed, my voice steady despite the rage burning in my chest. Annalise smirked from her perch on the antique love seat. You should let me set you up, Julia. That tech blog of yours isn't exactly husband material. Actually, I said, reaching for a teacup, I've been thinking about my future. Mother's eyebrows arched. Oh? I'm moving out next month. I've found a job in digital marketing. Entry level, I assume. Annalise's tone dripped with false concern. Everyone starts somewhere. I sipped my tea, picturing the small apartment I'd already leased across town. I might surprise you. Mother set down her cup with a sharp clink. Julia, be reasonable. You're not built for the corporate world. You're too sensitive. Awkward, Annalise added helpfully. She means you're awkward. I stood up, something inside me finally snapping. Thank you, both, for making your opinions so clear. All these years I thought I was the problem. Now I understand perfectly. Don't be dramatic, Mother sighed. We only want what's best for you. No, I said quietly. You want what's easiest for you. I walked out of that room with my spine straight and my head high. They didn't follow me. They never did. In my bedroom, I opened my laptop again and created a new email account. Then, I started researching shell companies and digital privacy laws. If they wanted to play puppet master with my life, fine. But from now on, I'd be the one pulling the strings. I wrote my resignation letter to the boutique where I'd been working part-time. Then, I drafted an email to a reclusive tech investor I'd been corresponding with through my blog. Dear William, I typed, I am ready to discuss that business proposal, but I have one condition. Absolute anonymity. My phone buzzed with a text from Annalise. Mother's upset. Stop being difficult. I deleted it without responding. They thought I was too plain to succeed, too awkward to matter, too weak to fight back. They'd written me off as a supporting character in their glamorous narrative. But they forgot one thing. The quiet ones see everything. and I'd been watching, learning, and planning for longer than they knew. I opened a new document and typed 2 words at the top: Project Quinn. Let them think they'd won. Let them believe their perfect little world was secure. I had time. I had motivation. And now, thanks to their carelessly open laptop, I had proof. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't served cold. Sometimes it's served with a smile, a business plan, and an empire built in silence. My first apartment was a shoebox with aspirations. The kind of place where you could cook dinner, watch TV, and do laundry without leaving your bed, because everything was within arm's reach. But it was mine, and more importantly, it was far from my family's suffocating influence. "You're sure about this?" William asked during our first in-person meeting. We sat in a quiet corner of a downtown cafe, his intense eyes studying me over rimless glasses. "Completely," I said, sliding my business proposal across the table. "I've mapped out every step." He flipped through the pages, occasionally nodding. "A digital PR firm that specializes in truth and reputation management. Interesting angle. The industry's broken," I explained, leaning forward. "Everyone's focused on covering up scandals. I want to expose them instead." William's mouth twitched. "And this has nothing to do with your family." "Everything has to do with my family, but that's not the only reason." He closed the folder and sat back. "You understand what you're asking. Complete anonymity isn't easy in today's world." "I'll figure it out." "No," he said, "we'll figure it out. But first, show me you can deliver." That night, I sat cross-legged on my bed/office, surrounded by empty ramen cups and energy drink cans. My blog post about influencer marketing fraud went live at midnight. By morning, it had gone viral. 3 months later, I hired Serenity. She walked into my cramped apartment office, took one look at the chaos, and started organising without being asked. "Your 3 o'clock cancelled," she announced, clearing away takeout containers. "But I got you a meeting with that whistleblower from Stella Cosmetics instead." I looked up from my coding. "How did you manage that?" She smiled mysteriously. "I have my ways. Also, you need to eat something that isn't instant noodles." "I had a salad yesterday." Putting lettuce on instant noodles doesn't count as a salad. Working with Serenity was like finding the missing piece of a puzzle I didn't know was incomplete. She handled the real world while I built our digital infrastructure. Together, we turned my tiny apartment into command central for what would become J. Quinn and Associates. The first real test came 6 months in. A luxury boutique, one of my mother's favourites, was caught using child labour in their overseas factories. The story landed in my inbox from an anonymous source. "This could be big," Serenity said, reviewing the evidence. "But are you ready? Your mother shops there weekly." I thought about all the times Mother had paraded me through that store, sighing dramatically at how nothing quite suited my difficult figure. "Post it," I said. The story exploded. Within days, protesters gathered outside the boutique's locations. Their stock plummeted. Mother left 3 voicemails complaining about how she couldn't possibly shop anywhere else. I deleted them all. William called as the dust was settling. "Impressive work. Ready to scale up? What did you have in mind?" "I bought a building. Penthouse office. Time to give J. Quinn a proper home." I stood in that empty penthouse the next day, watching sunset paint the city gold. Floor-to-ceiling windows, private elevator, state-of-the-art everything. "This is insane," I whispered. "This is just the beginning," Serenity said, already measuring for desk placements. "We're going to need a team." We hired carefully. Everyone signed ironclad NDAs. J. Quinn became a mysterious figure who communicated only through secure channels. My family's Christmas card that year showed them at their country club, gleaming with success. I pinned it to my office wall as motivation. 1 year into operations, we broke our biggest story yet. A charity foundation had been funneling donations into private accounts. The foundation's president was Mother's tennis partner. "Julia," Serenity called from her desk, "your sister's on TV." Sure enough, there was Annalise defending her friend on a morning show. These accusations are ridiculous. The foundation does wonderful work. I watched her performance with clinical interest. Same hair flip, same practiced sincerity she'd used when telling my high school crush I had a contagious skin condition. "Should we release the bank records?" Serenity asked. "Not yet." I turned back to my screens. Let them dig themselves deeper first. That evening, I found a blog post analysing Jay Quinn's rising influence. The author called us digital vigilantes with a conscience. I printed it out and added it to my wall, right next to the Christmas card. My phone buzzed with a text from Mother. "Darling, do call when you can. We never see you anymore." I typed back, "Very busy with work. Maybe next month." Let them think I was still their awkward daughter working some insignificant job. Let them keep underestimating me. The higher they built their glass houses, the further they had to fall. And I was just getting started. "The Nichols Foundation for Arts and Culture," I read aloud, staring at the glossy brochure Serenity had dropped on my desk. "Seriously? Launched last week," Serenity confirmed. "Your mother's the chairwoman. Annalise is executive director. They're calling it a new paradigm in charitable giving." I laughed without humour. More like a new paradigm in tax evasion. The foundation was exactly the kind of vanity project my family excelled at. All glamour, zero substance. Their first fundraising gala made the society pages, with Mother and Annalise beaming from behind a giant novelty check. "Should we look into it?" Serenity asked, already knowing my answer. "Start digging." But quietly. We didn't have to dig far. The foundation's financial records were a masterclass in creative accounting. Money flowed in from wealthy donors, then disappeared into a maze of shell companies and offshore accounts. "Look at this," Serenity said one evening, pointing to her screen. "They're claiming to fund art programs in underprivileged schools, but none of these schools exist." I leaned closer. "And the addresses. All led to empty lots or abandoned buildings." Perfect. But we needed more. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. One of Annalise's junior assistants reached out through our anonymous tip line. She'd been ordered to shred some documents, but kept copies. "Your sister's been forging donor signatures," Serenity reported, "using their names to authorise transfers without consent." I sat back in my chair, fingers steepled. "Start preparing the exposé. But first, let's rattle their cage a little." Over the next few weeks, we orchestrated a subtle campaign of digital whispers, anonymous comments on charity watchdog sites, pointed questions from small-time bloggers. Nothing direct, just enough to make them nervous. It worked. "Julia," Annalise's voice crackled through my phone one afternoon. "You still work in marketing or whatever, right? We need some PR help." "Oh," I kept my voice neutral. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," she snapped. "We're just seeing some negative attention online. It's probably jealous competitors." "Have you tried reaching out to Jay Quinn? I hear they're the best in crisis management." Annalise scoffed. "Please, that mysterious PR firm? Mother says they're probably just angry feminists with too many cats." I glanced at the industry awards lining my office walls. Maybe. But they get results. Whatever. Just tell me how to make these rumours go away. "Sorry, sis. Crisis management isn't really my area." After hanging up, I turned to Serenity. "Release the first wave." The next morning, major news outlets ran stories questioning the foundation's spending. By afternoon, their biggest donors were demanding audits. Mother appeared on a morning show, her perfect composure cracking slightly under tough questions. "This is a witch hunt," she declared, her smile brittle. "Our foundation's integrity is beyond reproach." I watched the interview in my office, remembering all the times she'd used that same dismissive tone with me. "Release the bank records," I told Serenity. The effect was immediate. Social media exploded. The foundation's phones rang off the hook. Annalise's husband, a senior partner at a prestigious law firm, publicly distanced himself from the scandal. "Julia," Mother's voice message was frantic. "These horrible stories. You must help us reach out to media contacts. Family stands together in crisis." I deleted the message and opened my laptop to type a press release from J. Quinn & Associates. "Our firm has been engaged to investigate allegations of financial misconduct at the Nichols Foundation. Initial findings suggest systematic fraud at the highest levels. Full report forthcoming." Serenity read it over my shoulder. "That's going to destroy them." "No," I said quietly. "That's going to make them desperate. And desperate people make mistakes." Sure enough, within hours, Annalise attempted to transfer a large sum from the foundation's accounts to a private offshore bank. We tracked every keystroke. "Should we stop the transfer?" Serenity asked. "Let it go through. Let them think they have an escape route." I stood at my office window, watching the city lights flicker on as dusk settled. Somewhere across town, my mother and sister were probably huddled in their perfect living room, watching their perfect world crumble. My phone buzzed with another message from Mother. "Darling, please, we need you." For the first time in years, that was actually true. They needed me desperately. They just didn't know it was me they were running from. "Serenity," I called. "Schedule a press conference for tomorrow morning. It's time for J. Quinn to make a public statement." The trap was set. All I had to do was wait for them to walk right into it. The press conference was a bloodbath. I watched it unfold on multiple screens in my office, each showing a different news channel's coverage. Mother sat at the foundation's mahogany desk, her usual poise crumbling under the barrage of questions. "Mrs. Nichols, can you explain why donor funds were redirected to personal accounts? Is it true your daughter Annalise forged signatures? What do you say to the schools that were promised funding?" Mother's hand trembled as she reached for her water glass. "These accusations are... There's been a misunderstanding." Annalise burst into the room, ignoring her mother's warning glance. "This is ridiculous. We're victims of a coordinated attack. J. Quinn is nothing but a digital terrorist." I smiled and pressed a button on my intercom. "Serenity, release the email archives." Within minutes, my sister's words came back to haunt her. Hundreds of emails appeared online, showing her explicit instructions to staff about hiding transactions and falsifying documents. "Your husband's office just called," Serenity announced, walking in with a tablet. "He's filing for divorce and freezing their joint accounts." On screen, Annalise's phone must have buzzed with the news. I watched her perfect facade crack as she read the message. She stumbled backward, nearly falling before a staff member caught her arm. "Ms. Nichols," reporters shouted, "any comment on your husband's divorce filing?" Mother grabbed Annalise and practically dragged her from the podium. The cameras followed their retreat, capturing every stumble, every crack in their designer armour. I switched to social media feeds. Nichols' scandal was trending nationwide. Their society friends were jumping ship faster than rats from a burning yacht. "Remember when Annalise told everyone I had an eating disorder in high school?" I asked Serenity. "Just because I wouldn't let her copy my math homework." "Karma's finally catching up." My phone lit up with a text from William. "Watching the show. You okay?" I typed back, "Never better." That was a lie. Truth was, I felt hollow, empty. Like I'd been running on revenge for so long I'd forgotten what came after. The society blogs were having a field day. Photos surfaced of Annalise being turned away from her favourite restaurants. Mother's country club membership was under review. Their carefully curated world was imploding. "Julia?" Serenity's voice was gentle. "There's something you should see." She pulled up an old video on her tablet. It was me at 16, giving a presentation at a school business competition. I was talking about digital marketing, my eyes bright with passion. In the background, Mother and Annalise were clearly visible, whispering and laughing. I remembered that day. I'd won first place, but they'd left before the announcement. Mother said they had a hair appointment. "You were amazing," Serenity said. "Even then." "I was invisible," I corrected her, "until now." My phone buzzed again. Another desperate voicemail from Mother. I played it on speaker. "Julia, darling, please. Everything's falling apart. These horrible J. Quinn people, they're destroying us. We need your help, your family. Please." Serenity raised an eyebrow. "Are you going to help them?" "Oh, yes," I smiled, emotion because J. Quinn is going to offer them the deal of a lifetime. I drafted the email myself, making sure every word was perfect. "Dear Mrs. Nichols, given the severity of your situation, J. Quinn and Associates would be willing to consider taking your case. Our services don't come cheap, but we guarantee results. If interested, please come to our offices tomorrow at 2 p.m. Both you and your daughter must attend personally. Regards, J. Quinn." "They'll come," Serenity said confidently. "Of course they will. They don't have any other options." I walked to my private bathroom and stared in the mirror. The awkward girl they'd dismissed was gone. In her place stood someone else. Someone stronger, colder, more powerful than they could have imagined. My phone chimed with their reply. "We'll be there." I thought about all the times they'd made me feel small, the opportunities they'd stolen, the lies they'd told. Tomorrow they'd learn the truth. Tomorrow they'd finally see me. "Serenity," I called out, "cancel all appointments for tomorrow afternoon and have my black Armani suit pressed." "The one with the red bottom heels?" "Exactly." I smiled at my reflection. If we're going to destroy what's left of their world, we might as well look fabulous doing it. The sun was setting over the city, painting my office in shades of gold and shadow. In less than 24 hours, I would face my mother and sister as J. Quinn. The thought should have terrified me. Instead, I felt nothing but ice-cold clarity. They wanted to meet the mysterious J. Quinn. Fine. They were about to meet the monster they created, and I was going to enjoy every second of it. At 1:58 p.m, I watched through one-way glass as Mother and Annalise were escorted into our conference room. Mother wore Chanel, Annalise in Dior, their version of battle armor. But even designer labels couldn't hide their desperation. "They've been waiting 15 minutes, Serenity reported. Your mother's checked her watch 12 times. "Good." I smoothed my black suit. "Let's make it 20. The wait was deliberate, a power play Mother herself had taught me. I'd seen her do it countless times to others, making them sweat in her sitting room while she took her time. At exactly 2:20, I nodded to Serenity. "Show time." The click of my heels echoed down the hallway. Through the glass, I saw Mother straighten her spine, preparing to meet the mysterious J. Quinn. Annalise was biting her manicured nails, a habit Mother had spent thousands trying to break. I paused at the door, hand on the handle. 15 years of pain, rage, and preparation had led to this moment. The door opened silently. I stepped in. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. They stared at me, uncomprehending. Then Annalise's perfectly glossed mouth fell open. "Julia?" Mother's face went through a remarkable series of expressions. Confusion, disbelief, horror, and finally, understanding. "No," she whispered. "Yes." I sat at the head of the table, enjoying how they flinched at the simple word. Surprised? This is impossible, Annalise sputtered. You work in marketing, some little job. Correction, I smiled. I own the most powerful PR firm in the country, the one currently destroying your lives. Mother's hand clutched her pearl necklace. All this time, it was you. It was always me. I opened a laptop, turning it to face them. Shall we discuss your options? They're rather limited, I'm afraid. Annalise shot to her feet. You vindictive little... Sit down, I cut her off. Unless you'd prefer I release the recordings of you instructing your staff to shred evidence, she sat. Now then, I continued, J. Quinn and Associates can make your problems disappear. We can spin the story, suppress the evidence, even rehabilitate your reputations. Eventually. What's the catch? Mother's voice was barely audible. Simple. I want a confession. Public, detailed, and complete. Confession of what? Everything. I met her eyes. Every scheme, every sabotage, every time you deliberately hurt me. Starting with how you destroyed my internship with Connor. Annalise laughed hysterically. You're insane. We're not doing that. I shrugged and reached for my phone. Then I guess you won't mind if I send these photos of your offshore accounts to the FBI. Wait! Mother grabbed Annalise's arm. We need time to think. You have 30 seconds. Julia, darling, Mother tried her soothing voice, the one she used to use before delivering particularly cruel comments. We're family. Surely we can discuss this reasonably. 20 seconds. I'll pay you, Annalise blurted. Whatever you want. Name your price. 10 seconds. Mother broke first. Fine. We'll do it. Just, please. I pressed a button on my intercom. Serenity, bring in the contracts. My assistant entered with documents and a camera crew. Mother's face went pale. You're recording this? Consider it insurance. I slid the papers across the table. Sign here, and here, initial, there. Their hands shook as they signed away their last shred of dignity. I watched without pity, remembering all the times they'd made me sign away my own dreams. The press conference is scheduled for tomorrow, I informed them. You'll read exactly what's on these cards. Word for word. Any deviation, any attempt to minimize or excuse your actions, and the deal's off. You're enjoying this, Annalise accused. Actually, no. I stood up. I stopped enjoying anything about you years ago. This isn't pleasure, Annalise. This is justice. Mother started to cry, perfectly silent tears that wouldn't ruin her makeup. Where did we go so wrong with you? That's the thing, Mother. You didn't go wrong with me. I went right despite you. I walked to the door, then turned back. Oh, and one more thing. The designer bags. They're fake, just like everything else about you. Serenity fell into step beside me as I left them there, surrounded by cameras and contracts. That was intense, she said quietly. It's not over yet. I checked my watch. They have 12 hours to prepare their confessions. Want to bet on who breaks first? My money's on Annalise. I smiled, but it felt hollow. Tomorrow they would face the world and admit what they'd done. Tomorrow everyone would know the truth. So why didn't I feel more triumphant? Let's go through this one more time, I said, pacing the conference room the next morning. Mother, you'll start with the Connor incident. Mother clutched her prepared statement, knuckles white. Must we be so specific? Every detail. I stopped in front of her. How you called his newspaper, what you said about me, the exact words, Mother. She swallowed hard. I told him Julia was unstable, that she had a history of inappropriate attachments to male authority figures. And and that her blog posts showed signs of plagiarism. Annalise shifted uncomfortably in her chair. The morning light through the windows made her look older, worn. "Your turn, sis." I turned to her. "Tell me about the charity funds." "This is ridiculous," she snapped. "You've already won. Why make us grovel?" I pulled out my phone and played a recording. Annalise's voice, crystal clear, instructing her assistant to lose the donation records. "Fine!" She grabbed her statement. "I embezzled money. I forged signatures. I used the foundation to fund my shopping addiction. Happy?" "Getting there." I nodded to Serenity, who wheeled in a TV monitor. "Now, let's review some greatest hits." The screen flickered to life, showing a compilation of their greatest cruelties. Mother at my college graduation, telling relatives I was there taking a break before getting married. Annalise spreading rumours about my mental health when I started my blog. "Stop," Mother whispered. "Please." "Why? You never stopped." I paused the video. "Every time I achieved something, you were there to tear it down. Every dream, every accomplishment, you poisoned it." "We were trying to protect you," Mother burst out. "From what? From failure, from humiliation." She stood up, mascara starting to run. "Look at you, plain, awkward, always hiding behind computers. We knew you'd never survive in the real world." The room went deadly quiet. "The real world?" I laughed softly. "Mother, I owned the real world. Every headline, every trending topic, every digital whisper. That's me. While you were protecting me from failure, I built an empire." Annalise's phone buzzed. She checked it, then went pale. "The press is already gathering downstairs." "Right on schedule." I handed them each an earpiece. "Put these in. I'll be feeding you lines if you deviate from the script." "Julia," Mother tried one last time, reaching for my hand. "We're still family." I stepped back. "No, we're not. We're just people who share DNA and a story that ends today." Serenity appeared at the door. "They're ready for us." The walk to the press room felt like a funeral march. Mother and Annalise trailing behind me, their designer heels clicking on marble floors. Camera flashes greeted us through the glass walls. "Remember," I said, turning to face them one last time. "Every word exactly as written, or the FBI gets everything." "You really hate us that much?" Annalise asked. I don't hate you at all." I straightened her collar, a mockery of sisterly affection. "I just want the truth. For once in our lives, let's try honesty." The press room doors opened. Cameras whirred, reporters leaned forward in their seats. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announced, taking the podium, "I'm Jay Quinn. Today, we're here to witness something unprecedented in crisis management. Absolute truth." I stepped aside, letting Mother take my place. She gripped the podium like a life raft. "My name is Lorelei," she began, voice shaking. "And I need to confess something about my daughter." I watched from the wings as she detailed every manipulation, every lie. Annalise followed, breaking down halfway through her statement about the foundation fraud. Serenity touched my arm. "Julia, are you okay?" I realized I was crying. Silent tears, just like Mother taught me. "I don't know. We can stop this." "No." I wiped my eyes. "Let them finish." The confession took 47 minutes. By the end, Mother could barely stand. Annalise had mascara streak down her face. The reporters were stunned, silent. I stepped back to the podium. "Thank you for your honesty. Jay Quinn and Associates will be handling their reputation recovery process. No further questions." Security escorted them out through a side door. I watched them go, these two broken women who had once seemed so powerful. "What now?" Serenity asked softly. "Now?" I gathered my papers. "Now we wait for tomorrow's headlines, and then we see what's left to rebuild." But as I turned to leave, Mother's last words echoed in my head. "We're still family." Were we? Could anything survive this kind of truth? I didn't know. But for the first time in years, I felt something other than rage when I thought of them. I felt free. The headlines were nuclear. Every major news outlet, every social media platform, every morning show exploded with the story. Not just about the foundation scandal anymore. Now it was about me. Digital queen Jay Quinn reveals identity in shocking family showdown. PR mogul orchestrates own family's downfall. From forgotten daughter to tech empire, the Julia Quinn story. Your phone's been ringing non-stop, Serenity said, walking into my office with a stack of newspapers. CNN, Forbes, Times, they all want interviews. I was staring at my laptop, reading comments on the live stream recording. Millions of views already. People are calling you a hero, Serenity continued, especially women who've been dismissed by their families. A notification popped up on my screen. An email from Connor, the journalist whose internship I'd lost years ago. Julia, I owe you an apology. I should have seen through their lies. What you've built is extraordinary. Would love to grab coffee sometime. Connor. Delete it, I told Serenity. Are you sure? He could be a powerful ally. Delete it. I'm done with the past. My office door burst open. William strode in, looking more animated than I'd ever seen him. Have you seen the stock price? He waved his tablet. We're up 300% since yesterday. Every major corporation wants Jay Quinn handling their PR now. Because they're afraid of us, I said. Exactly, he grinned. Fear and respect. It's a powerful combination. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It's Annalise, please. Can we talk? I blocked the number. Your mother's been trying to reach you through the company line, Serenity said quietly. What does she want? She's checking into a private hospital. Exhaustion, they're saying. She wants to see you. I walked to my window, looking out at the city. Somewhere out there, my family was imploding. Mother in a hospital bed, Annalise probably booking a flight to some distant country. Ms. Quinn? Our head of security appeared at the door. There's a situation in the lobby. Your sister's here. I turned sharply. What? Security footage showed Annalise sitting in our lobby, still wearing yesterday's clothes, makeup smeared. She's been there for hours, the security head said, refuses to leave. Julia, Serenity touched my arm. Maybe you should... Fine. I straightened my jacket. Have her brought up. Minutes later, Annalise stumbled into my office. She looked nothing like the polished socialite who tormented me for years. You won, she said hoarsely. You destroyed us. Happy now? Are you drunk? Does it matter? She laughed bitterly. My husband's gone. My friends won't take my calls. Mother's having a breakdown. And you're the queen of everything. What do you want, Annalise? Want? She stepped closer. I want my life back. I want to understand how my awkward little sister turned into this. I met her gaze steadily. You made me this. You and Mother. Every time you pushed me down, I built something stronger. We were wrong, she whispered. About everything. You were never the weak one. No, I agreed. I wasn't. She reached into her purse, hands shaking, and pulled out an old photograph. Us as children, before everything went wrong. Before they decided I wasn't good enough. Remember this day? She asked. At the beach house. You were teaching me how to build sandcastles. I remembered. It was before Mother enrolled Annalise in modelling classes, before the constant competition began. That's ancient history. Is it? She placed the photo on my desk, because I keep thinking, maybe if we'd stayed those girls, building things together instead of tearing each other down. Stop. My voice cracked. Just stop. Julia, security will escort you out. I pressed my intercom. Goodbye, Annalise. She stood there, clutching her designer bag like a shield. You know what's funny? You finally became everything Mother wanted. Powerful, feared, perfect. The words hit like a slap. Because she was right. In destroying them, I'd become exactly what they'd always valued. Style over substance, power over love. As security led her away, I picked up the beach photo. 2 smiling girls with sandy feet and matching ice cream cones. I couldn't remember the last time either of us had smiled like that. Julia? Serenity stood at the door. The Times is waiting for your statement. What should I tell them? I looked at my empire of glass and steel, built on revenge and pain, at the awards and headlines celebrating my victory. Tell them, I paused, still holding the photo. Tell them Jay Quinn has no comment at this time. Because for the first time since this began, I wasn't sure what to say. Their old family estate loomed before me, its Victorian grandeur faded under foreclosure signs. I hadn't planned to come here, but after Annalise's visit, something pulled me back. My key still worked. The front door creaked open, releasing the musty scent of abandoned wealth. Sheets covered the furniture like ghosts of privilege past. I thought I'd find you here. I spun around. Mother stood in the doorway, looking smaller without her usual armour of designer clothes and perfect makeup. How did you get out of the hospital? She stepped inside. I checked myself out. Some things are more important than rest. We stood in awkward silence, surrounded by the remnants of our fractured family. I saw your interview, she said finally, the one where you declined to press charges. It wasn't mercy, I replied. Revenge just started tasting bitter. Mother moved to the grand staircase, running her hand along the dusty banister. Remember how you used to slide down this? Before I taught you it wasn't ladylike? Before you taught me a lot of things. She turned to face me. I've had time to think, in that hospital room, about everything we did to you, everything we taught you about worth and power and success. Don't, I warned, don't try to make this better. I'm not. She pulled something from her bag, an old notebook. I found this in the attic before the bank took over. Your business plans from high school. Page after page of brilliant ideas we ignored. I remembered that notebook. Hours spent dreaming up marketing strategies, digital platforms, innovations that would later become Jay Quinn and Associates. You were never invisible, Julia, Mother said softly. We were blind. Why are you here? Because my daughter built an empire to prove me wrong, and all I can think about is how much energy we wasted destroying each other. A noise at the door made us both turn. Annalise stood there, holding a cardboard box. Sorry, she said. I didn't know. I just came to get some photos before they clear everything out. The 3 of us stood in our old foyer, surrounded by sheets and shadows, and years of unspoken words. I'm selling the company, I announced suddenly. What? They spoke in unison, an echo of easier times. To William. He'll keep the name, the reputation. But I'm starting something new. Mother stepped closer. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, showing them the business plan I'd been working on since Annalise's visit. A digital platform for family reconciliation, professional mediators, counselling resources, legal support, everything I wish we'd had 20 years ago. That's... Annalise studied the screen. Actually, brilliant. It won't fix everything, I said. Some things can't be fixed. But maybe it can help other families avoid our mistakes. Mother touched my arm hesitantly. And us? I don't know. I met her eyes. But I'm tired of building walls. Maybe it's time to try building bridges instead. Annalise set down her box and opened it. More photos spilled out. Birthdays, holidays, moments when we were almost happy. Remember this? She held up a picture of us in the garden. You were teaching me how to code before I got jealous and told everyone you were a computer nerd. You were a better student than you pretended to be, I said. I was better at a lot of things before I started pretending. Mother picked up another photo. Me at my first science fair. We could start over, not as mother and daughters, maybe, but as people who want to do better. I looked at these women who had shaped my life through their cruelty, now standing vulnerable in the ruins of our past. No, I said firmly. They flinched, but I continued. Not start over, start honest. With everything we are, everything we've done. No more pretending. Annalise nodded slowly. I'd like that. It won't be easy, Mother warned. Nothing worth building ever is. I walked to the front door and held it open. Coffee? I know a place where we can talk. Really, talk. They followed me out into the sunlight. As I locked the door one last time, I glanced up at my old bedroom window. The little girl who once hid there, dreaming of revenge, could finally rest. I'd built my empire. I'd won my war. Now it was time to build something stronger than victory, something that might even look like peace. Ready? I asked them. They nodded, and together we walked away from the house that had held our worst selves towards something that felt surprisingly like hope. Not an ending. Not really. Just a different kind of beginning.